All right, you guys watched a video on calculating unemployment. So just a couple things to reiterate here. One, no job does not equal unemployed. Remember, you have to be willing and able to work and not have a job to be considered unemployed. So just to reiterate that point. The other thing to remember is those classifications. Who's in the labor force or not in the labor force? NEAP. Remember NEAP, the non-institutionalized adult population. So NEAP is basically everyone who's able to work, and the labor force is everyone who's willing and able. Okay? So just a quick refresher there. But now we want to kind of classify and look at what are the causes of the different types of unemployment. So we've got some different types of unemployment we want to understand. Because understanding the source of the unemployment is really important. Now, first one is very easy. It's what we call seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment is not one that we really worry about too much because seasonal unemployment is something that's very predictable. That if you have a certain type of job, that it's in a certain season. So some agricultural jobs are only for a few months. And in the months that they're not employed, that's something they can plan on. So and that's something that we can adjust for statistically as well. So sometimes some construction jobs, or maybe if someone works as a Santa Claus, they're going to be employed during the holiday season, but in the other part of the year, they're not going to be unemployed. And the reason we don't worry about that too much is because it's predictable, it can be planned. Someone who chooses to have a job like that could save during that period of income to cover the period in which they're not employed. Sometimes they may even choose to have another job. For example, take ski instructors. Ski instructors that will work the ski slopes here in the wintertime. They'll be up in Tahoe, they'll be up in Utah, and they'll work the season there. And then during the off season, what is the off season here in North America? They'll go down to New Zealand and work the ski slopes down there. So that they have a job where they're not employed. In the season in which they're not employed, they're able to fill that with some other form of seasonal employment. So like I said, those are things that are predictable, they can plan on, but the reason they're unemployed is because the work is not in season. Okay? Now, the other kind of unemployment that we want to be aware of is what we call structural unemployment. Structural unemployment is a little bit more problematic. Structural unemployment means that the workers don't have the skills. The workers don't have skills that are in demand. Now, that could be for a number of different reasons. Maybe their skills have become obsolete, or maybe their skills, they're not, like I said, they're obsolete, not that they don't have skills, but their skills are obsolete in that they're not competitive with the skills that they have. Sometimes that's through new technologies or through foreign competition, but their skills have become obsolete. And so their work is no longer in demand. So those are structurally unemployed. So how can we deal with structural unemployment? That is a problem. People want to work, but they don't really have the skills. And this is what really kind of drives us to policies toward helping people develop job skills, job retraining programs. And so when we get structural unemployment, that's a problem because that's going to stick around with us for a long time if people don't have the skills. So structural unemployment. We had seasonal and structural. The other one we want to talk about is frictional. Frictional is when people are between jobs. Okay, friction, they're in between the jobs. Okay, and this is not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, we would like people to move between jobs when they move from one job into another job where their skills are better suited for that job. Their skills are in higher demand. That would tend to mean higher incomes for those individuals, and human capital resources that they have are being better utilized within the economy. So frictional unemployment, in some ways you could think of that as a very positive thing. But the time between when they quit one job and find another job, that period of job search, that period in which they're unemployed, because job search is not easy. You can't just quit one day and you're hired at another job the next day. So that period of job search, that will be a period of unemployment, but it's frictional unemployment. Now, people tend not to quit if they don't expect that there are jobs. In fact, in the economy today, you'll see probably a reduction in the frictional unemployment because people simply are afraid that maybe there aren't those jobs available as they're trying to move up the ladder and trying to get into higher paying positions. Okay, so frictional unemployment. Another one to kind of think about with frictional unemployment, I said between jobs, but sometimes it's when we have someone who's not in the labor force, say a full-time college student. They're not in the labor force. They've been going to school, but then they graduate, and now they start looking for a job. Well, they're in between that period. So these people that have entered the labor force and they're looking for that job, that period of job search, these people would be considered frictionally unemployed. So that's the one that's kind of, I said it's between jobs, but that might be a little caveat to that description. And then the last form of unemployment that we want to talk about here is cyclical. Cyclical means the economy's not doing well. The economy's going through business cycles. The economy's booming, there's an expansion, and then the economy slows down. And certainly we've had a slowdown here, a recessionary period for the last couple of years. So a lot of people who are unemployed today are not unemployed because they don't have the skills. They're not unemployed because they chose to leave a job and to look for something else. They're unemployed simply because the economy's not doing well. And that form of unemployment is called cyclical unemployment. So you guys pay close attention to these, because you guys on your worksheet, you're going to be looking up some information about the natural rate of unemployment. Now, sometimes people think, hey, we got to get unemployment down to zero. That can't happen. Unemployment won't get down to zero, because as unemployment gets closer and closer to zero, that's going to put upward pressure on wages, because companies are looking around. They don't have people out there that can just go hire. So that puts upward pressure on the wages when unemployment gets low. Right now, with high unemployment, that's some downward pressure on the wages. In fact, just today, President Obama announced there's going to be a pay freeze for federal employees. So these kind of things happen in a down economy, the pressure on the wages. And that's going to be an important point when we start talking about how the economy adjusts in the long run. But for now, just keep in mind that when we have cyclical unemployment, those people are unemployed because the economy is not doing well. Okay? So we had seasonal, we had structural, we had frictional, and we had cyclical. So some of those things we'd like to get down to zero. I said we can't really get to zero. We will get to the natural rate, and the natural rate of unemployment is when cyclical is zero. So keep that in mind as you're going through some of the sources that I left for you guys to look up. Now, one of the ways that sometimes I like to think about unemployment is this. Unemployment sucks. Something sucks if someone's unemployed. Seasonal unemployment, what sucks? The weather sucks. The season is not the right season. Okay, structural unemployment. The worker sucks. Their skills are obsolete. Okay, frictional unemployment. Their previous job sucks. They're looking to move on to something else. And cyclical unemployment, the economy sucks. So with all the four types of unemployment that we described here, something sucks. Unemployment sucks. All right? So keep that in mind as you go through the worksheet. In fact, right now probably what you ought to do is flip over to the Understanding Unemployment worksheet, go on the back side of that, and then just classify these people in terms of what type of unemployment. First, if they're unemployed at all, are they in the non-institutionalized adult population? Are they in the labor force? Are they unemployed? If they are unemployed, what type of unemployment are these people described as being as? So that's it. All right? Take a look at that worksheet and then come back and check out the other clip on unemployment.